Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's time for coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Cloe Shasha. You've alluded, Cloe, to the fact that it hasn't always been like super smooth sailing for you at TED, that there have been challenges. And I think that's super natural for everyone in their jobs. I mean, you grow, you hit road bumps, you may hit a roadblock even. I try to ask all of my guests, Cloe, to share a time in their professional lives when they struggled as a way to really empower our young listeners and comfort them to know that even someone who is at a company like TED, at a position with so much seniority as you have right now, you have still had times when you struggled. So could you share a story with us around a time when it wasn't super easy? Maybe you even experienced the imposter syndrome, which is really common among type A women. But most importantly, how you persevere and a lesson that you may have learned in the process.
Well, there's so many moments, honestly. It's hard for me to think of which one to tell as a coherent story. But I will say that the first time that I curated a program completely on my own was this program that was a salon event. So not a super long one, but 7 or 8 speakers in our TED office theater. And I felt I'd been curating for years already, but always with the team and with a second reader. We have a whole system. We have the first and second reader for each talk. And for this one, it was one of those projects that kind of was like, oh yeah, Chloe, why don't you take this on? And you'll be fine. You'll do it. And the truth is I wasn't fine. I needed support. I needed second readers, as we now have for everything. And we just hadn't thought the process all the way through before I started. And then I had brought the speakers to a place that felt good, but not great. And I realized suddenly in a panic that there just wasn't enough time to make them great. Like I needed more perspective on them. I was too close to the talks. I had spent too much time with these speakers, sort of affirming the things they really wanted to include in there and contributing my offerings, but still needing like a third-party lens on it. And I didn't ask for help early enough. I just didn't think that I could. It seemed like everyone was too busy, and we were all so busy, but what I do reflects what we all do, so I should have asked for help. And then some colleagues of mine got involved, and it was like a come to Jesus moment where my boss was like, look, these are not ready. And I was like, I know. I haven't been able to get support. Like, I just didn't know I could ask. And she's like, you should have asked. But she also said, but I should have helped you. I should have offered it. And for about, I don't know, maybe 10 days, I was like on a rapid fire editing spree with all of these people, getting support from a couple other readers, and transforming these talks in time for when we would come on to the stage. And it worked out, but it was incredibly stressful. Like I felt like I had failed, like I had both not gotten the support I needed, but also was too cowardly to ask for it, and that I was going to represent our team badly, and that I hadn't done my job correctly. And really it was just learning how to say when you need things moment, as well as growing. Like I kind of needed that experience to know when I hit like the edge of my own ability to improve something and need another perspective. Because it's just really hard build relationships with people and get close to their content to continue to see how they need to be edited. That was a big turning point for me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I can tell you, oh my gosh, so many stories, Chloe. The biggest one would be when I came back from being a foreign correspondent in Asia and was promoted to be the State Department correspondent for CNN. And I never asked for help. I never said I didn't know what I was doing when I had no clue and I was way in over my head.
Yeah.
And my fear was if I admitted I didn't know something, that somehow or another people would be surprised and then might think less of me, as opposed to it being like almost an open secret. And I feel like I was the one, in my case, who dropped the ball because I was afraid to let down my mask. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.